There lead that series handily 10-3, and they expect to make it 11-3. And we're going to start at 125 pounds. You can start different weights in duels these days, but they are going to start right at the top. And for Edinboro, their first match of this season, they want to start off on the good foot. But as you said, Matthew, this is a very, very tall task. They've got some guys out with injuries and issues that are keeping them from being at full strength. This is a young team. They had some guys that had some success at the Clarion Open. There was only one head-to-head matchup, and there will not be a repeat of that in the dual meet today. But they are going to start at 125 pounds with Caleb Edwards taking the mat, an Ohio native from Ravenna. And he's going to be taking on the guy that really set the tone on Friday against Virginia Tech, Brendan McCrone, being introduced right now. And boy, he's not a freshman. He's not a first-year wrestler. He's had some experience, but boy, did he make a mark on Friday against Virginia Tech.
Yeah, he had a really big debut, win over number 4 Eddie Ventresca by major of Virginia Tech. So he's had a really, really good pace for the Buckeyes coming into that duel. And one thing we're going to be talking about a lot during this duel is rule changes. There are 13 rule changes that have happened right before this season started, one of which is the weigh-in rule. It used to be for a dual meet like this, weigh-ins would have 1 hour, happen 1 hour before the matches started. So they would have been weighing in at about 11 o'clock. But they changed that, so now it's 2 hours. And that's really impactful for these heavy, or the lighter weights like 125, 33, 41. Because a lot of times not only are they cutting a lot of weight, but they're the first ones to wrestle.
Absolutely. There's not much recovery time. McCrone comes away with the three-point takedown, and kudos to the referee for throwing up the three, because in every event that I have seen so far this year, including the wrestle-offs here for Ohio State earlier, the first takedown, boy, here's a nice cradle roll through. McCrone is coming up with some back points here. He got the full complement of 4, and he's looking for the fall. That inside shoulder may be up. No, it's not. It is down, and that is a pinfall for McCrone. Gets the crowd to their feet right here from the get-go. That's the way to start it for if you're the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Just 1 minute and 6 seconds is all it took McCrone, and again, he's getting these Buckeyes off to a really strong start for this duel. So he's done a great job. That's such an emphasis by the coaches. You got to start off strong. It's a big responsibility for that 125-pounder, and McCrone's doing it really well so far this season.
I asked him about that. As you see the replay, that inside shoulder. On that kind of cradle, it's tough to get that inside shoulder down because it often is sitting up on your own chest. But he was able to wiggle and get the room there. And then the lead official, Conrad Duffy, was on it, saw it, called it. But yeah, I talked to McCrone about that, and he said he really relishes the opportunity to set the tone, to get the team going in the right direction. He's 2 for 2.
Yeah. Yeah, he really locked up cradle. He had that far leg kind of tied up with his legs. And like you said, he got the 4 count, got his near fall, readjusted for the pin, and put it away.
Jacob Brenneman, the freshman, takes the center of the mat for Edinboro. And his opponent will be looking for some revenge from Friday, Nick Buzakis. Buzakis ranked 14th in the country. Fell in the first duel, 2-2 at the Clarion Open. Buckeyes in the black singlets, and Buzakis immediately to a club trying to push the pace here. But it's the freshman Brenneman with the first shot for the Scots.
Brenneman from Accident, Maryland. It's an interesting, interesting town name.
How do you get there?
By accident.
Only by accident.
Yeah.
Buzakis is he is a powerhouse guy.
Yeah, high flyer, takes a lot, not afraid to take risk. Obviously, want to be calculated risk, but he's never afraid to let it loose, which is something you always want to see. He's one of those guys, but even if he's down 5, 6, 7 points, you know he's in the match because he can hit that big move, and he's not afraid to do it.
Very tough on top. So far this year, what we have seen, and you saw it last year a little bit in his limited time in the varsity lineup. And he's going to try and turn the corner here for the takedown. There it is. 3 points for Buzakis. Momentary lapses, oftentimes on his offense, allow a re-attack where he's given up those takedowns.
Yeah, and that's something, he's a freshman this year, redshirt freshman, but, he's got to clean up a couple of those things. A lot of the really talented high schoolers, they come out and they have all the assets they need, their aggression's there, their technique's there, but it's the little moments that those high schoolers couldn't capitalize on that these college guys can.
That was an excellent redirect on the shot and turned into another takedown for Buzakis. Brenneman reacted to the initial motion, and that's where the redirect came in and put Buzakis in a great position to finish.
And just like that, it's 6-1, and that three-point takedown is kind of showing its effects here. We had kind of been talking about it before we got on there, and it's a new rule this year, going from a 2-point takedown to a 3-point takedown. Escapes are still worth 1. Reversals still worth 2. But that makes getting to those higher point levels, hit that major, hit that tech fall a lot easier. Before, if you did it in one period, it would have taken about 14 takedowns, assuming you didn't get any back points, to get a tech fall.
There's a third takedown for Buzakis as he just continues to work.
And now you can get that same tech fall with that 3-point takedown in just 8 takedowns, assuming that it just happens in one period. You don't finish on top, things like that. But that's a huge difference. That's 6 fewer takedowns you need to get a technical fall. So we should see, 1, quicker matches, and 2, more bonus points scored here. 23
seconds left in the first. There's a stall warning against Brenneman. And already over a minute of riding time built up by Buzakis. Riding time still a thing, but as this season goes along under these new rules, it's going to be very interesting to me. Buzakis trying to finish this period on top in a short time, and he did. Drop down to a leg. You saw 2 counts there from the lead official. We'll talk about that rule change as well. But for Buzakis, the riding time right now is at 1:23. I think, and this is just speculation, I think we're going to see people emphasize riding and getting a riding time point less and less, because with a 3-point takedown, if you can get another takedown, that's, even if you give up an escape off of it, that's worth 2, as opposed to not only the minute you have to spend holding a guy down, but also the energy that you have to expend doing that.
Yeah, and another rule change, it's not just holding the guy down. You have to be working for a turn.
Yes.
So that's another rule change, is with the top guy, it used to be you just need to be making an effort to keep him down to work him, but now you have to be working towards a turn or you're going to be hit for stalling. So the referee's going to be a little more critical about guys who are just trying to ride and maybe get that hypothetical riding point. They need to be trying to turn. So again, really de-emphasizing that riding, and it seems like they're trying to encourage more neutral wrestling.
Yeah, Buzakis still is tough on top, and listen, there is something to be said for riding a guy, making him burn his energy on the bottom, earn his way to his feet if he's going to get there. There's a mental aspect to it as well. So you're not going to see riding just go away. And really, for a team like Ohio State, historically, let's go back the last 10 years or so. This is a team built to win on its feet more than, generally speaking, on the mat.
Yeah, I think these rule changes heavily favor Ohio State. Not only that, so again, another rule that kind of favors the bottom man is that 5 count. Any drop down or any grasping of that ankle, that leg from the top man is going to initiate a 5 count.
Buzakis turns the corner for another takedown to make it 12-3 here in the second.
There's going to be a lot more opportunities for that top guy to get hit for stalling. He's got to work for a turn, and there's fewer scenarios where he can be touching the ankles, the legs, which is often associated with trying to stall.
Buzakis here looks like after the quick kick out wants to push for possibly that tech fall. There's under 20 seconds left here in the second period. He's going to need 3 more takedowns in order to do it. If he could get one here at the end of the period and ride it out, that would help. How about that? That'll do. There's a 3-point takedown to make it 15-4, and the clock down under 4 seconds now. He'll end the period on top, an 11-point advantage. And choice to Buzakis. So if he gets off the bottom, makes it 16, and then gets a takedown,
that's it.
That's the match.
It's going to take me a while to get my quick math of how many takedowns someone need to tie, take the lead, things like that.
End of the period points, escapes, takedowns are going to have, they've always had huge impact, but I think even more so now.
Oh, yeah.
And you saw that for Ohio State in their duel against Virginia Tech with 2 essentially last-second takedowns to win matches. And one of those with Isaac Wilcox was precipitated by a last-second escape There's the escape for Bouzakis and looking for the takedown to finish things off. Near to it, Brenneman trying to fight it off as best he can. He is broken down pretty flat in a bad spot. There's the takedown, and that's 15. A 19-4 lead and win and tech ball for Nick Bouzakis. A dominating performance at 133.
Yeah, great effort by Bouzakis. A lot of takedowns. And you just see how quickly you can rack up those points with those takedowns. Only 4 escapes from Brenneman, but Bouzakis was able to get 20 points.
There was, what, a minute 15 left in the third period. Listen, tech falls are not unheard of, certainly from the elite level NCAA athletes, but I think the percentage is going to go way up.
Oh, yeah.
And the majority of matches obviously end within the decision margin. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case this year.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. There's definitely be a lot more majors, a lot more technical falls. You know, we'll kind of see exactly how big of a difference it is compared to years prior, but it's definitely going to be a factor. It also makes you wonder if they'll potentially change the thresholds for a major, a technical fall.
That's an.
We'll
you know what? I hadn't really had that topic come up. That's an interesting one. The first thing that I wondered is the 4-point near fall going to go away?
Yeah, that's a good one too. So they added back a 3-point near fall. So it used to be if you get 2 or 3 seconds of exposure, that'd be 2 points. If you got to that 4th second, you get 4, and that's where you max out. Now it's 2 seconds is 2, 3 is 3, 4 is 4. So yeah, I think maybe they're trying to transition back to that because you can basically get a major hitting 1 move now. If you go feet to back, that's a 3-point takedown. Hold them there for 4. You're up 7-0 now. Let's say you hold them there for a minute. You got your riding time, and you don't need to score at all as long as you can keep him scoreless.
Win like they did against the Hokies in a very hostile environment, by the way. That was a great crowd. It tells you that these Buckeyes are ready to play.
Yeah.
All right, here we go now. Anthony Ferraro from Valencia, Pennsylvania. 2-time state placer. He takes the hill, and this is one of those weight classes where the injuries have made an impact. Amon Ole is out with injury. He would, in all likelihood, maybe be the starter in this one.
Yeah, regardless, though, you're going to have really tough competition with Jesse Mendez, freshman All-American last year. One of the guys that Ohio State was really touting as a big recruit. He came in his freshman year, true freshman year, All-American in a really tough weight class at 133. He's up at 141 this year and doing pretty well so far.
Looked like he wanted to go big there with that standing headlock. Bounced Ferraro a couple of times right off the get. Wasn't able to get the takedown, but he's in a good spot to get it here.
He's got a cradle locked up, it looks like. He's going to try to run it over.
There it is. There's the takedown. One swipe was all that there was. But he's not going to give it up. He's got it locked. He's got room to work. Now rolls back the other way. Hooks the leg. Looking for the fall. Full count.
Needs to readjust, get his weight back a little bit. There it is.
Now can he get that right shoulder blade down? Ferraro bridging for all he's worth. I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to hold it off. None at all. Another first period fall for the Buckeyes.
Ooh.
This one in 2 minutes, 7 seconds.
1 minute, 7 seconds.
Excuse me, 1:07, that's right.
That's 1 second slower than Macron.
Oh, he got bragging rights now. Jesse Mendez is a force to be reckoned with. Up a weight at 141. Seems to be doing okay.
Yeah, not too bad so far. So that's a really big lead Ohio State coming out to. 17-0 right now over Edinboro. And, you know, honestly, it's probably not going to get any easier for Edinboro from this point on.
No, they're going to send Stephen Lynch, another freshman, out at 149 pounds. Ryan Burgos out with an ankle injury. He would be the starter normally here. And redshirt senior for the Buckeyes, Dylan D'Amelio, 4-time Ohio State champion in high school. Made it to the podium in 2023, an All-American for the first time. And this is You know, you talk about, and he was a high-level recruit, as I said, a 4-time state champion in Ohio at Division III. But this is a guy who has had to grind and work and earn everything he has gotten so far.
Yeah, I think that's a really great way of pushing it, of putting it.
You know, some guys come on campus and there's success immediately, right? And it's unfair to a lot of these young freshmen, redshirt freshmen coming in. You see a Logan Stieber who's, you know, sitting over in the coach's chair. The other guys are sitting over in those coaches' chairs as well, and the Snyders and the Tomasellos that come through here, 4-time All-Americans. It's not easy.
Right.
It certainly isn't that easy. And for somebody to have to develop seems like an anomaly, but it isn't. And Dylan D'Amelio has certainly developed and has become one of the leaders on this team. He's in on a shot, changes to a double, scores the 3 on the edge for a first-period takedown. D'Amelio working for a turn there. He's got some room to work. He's got the turn. The count starts 1-2, and now it starts again. And D'Amelio trying to keep that foot in bounds and work for the fall. Whoa, what a readjust. There it is. 3 for 4 for the Buckeyes in first period falls, and D'Amelio grabs bragging rights, 59 seconds.
Buckeyes keeping up the streak here. It's 4 matches in a row ending early.
3 pins and a tech fall for the Buckeyes. D'Amelio is content with just the 1 takedown. Like Jesse Mendez, first period takedown, turned it into a pin, and that'll put us to 157 pounds. And this is yet a
guys, he's ranked 16th right now, which is obviously very good, but you can just see him clawing his way up. I don't see him as a guy who's going to be, you know, number 2, number 3, you know, tomorrow, but he's a guy who's going to be 16. He's going to go up to 14, to 12, and he's just going to slowly make his way up, I think.
Yeah, by the time the Big Ten tournament comes around, for a lot of these Buckeyes, those rankings are probably going to be higher than they are right now. Brendan McCrone not even ranked, obviously, coming into this opening portion of the schedule. You know, beating an All-American, that's probably going to change that pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely make a debut with these upcoming ones and another pin here. So there's a couple guys that are going to be moving up a little bit.
You know, for Edinboro, again, it's been a theme so far. Young guys taking the mat, some injuries, some other things that have happened. And so it's tough for this team. And, you know, Edinboro, let's not forget, it's not too long in the past that they took home a trophy from the NCAA tournament. And this is a team that's in a fertile recruiting ground in the state of Pennsylvania.
Yep.
But they are battling, obviously, with some bigger programs in Pennsylvania. And trying to put their best foot forward here today.
They had a couple of really good wrestlers. Shop, Mitchell Port, Vic Avery, a couple of really good guys.
Patty Gallagher. Colin Roberts here. Gallagher with the quick early takedown, and he's looking for the side cradle.
Are we so Ohio State a cradle team now?
Well, it appears to be.
Well, these lower weights must have been wrestling with Jaggers.
Well, you think. Now, I will say this, too. Sammy Sasso is still around.
Yeah.
And he is not – they're going to have to put him in a straitjacket to keep him from just being on the mat and being with the guys and helping out in every way that he is able.
Yeah, and it just speaks to also Ohio State's depth. You lose a guy like Sammy Sasso for who knows how long.
Well, and this was going to be his weight class.
Yeah.
He was going to move up to 157. Gallagher with 2 quick takedowns, up 6-2.
Yeah, just a hammer to step in there. You know, Patty Gallagher, it's a downgrade, but not much.
Gallagher still pressing forward here. You know, looking at this Ohio State team over the past 10 years, I think there's more depth in the room with this group than I can recall seeing in the past. There are a lot of weight classes where you could put the next man up, and he's going to start for a huge majority of NCAA D1 teams.
Yeah, I don't think I would have made the team now.
Gallagher in on another shot, trying to finish his third takedown of the first period. The first period is only halfway over. He's got that leg stepped over, and that pressure in is going to force Roberts to bail out and give up that third takedown.
He's got the Turk.
He kept that Turk leg.
Looks like he lost it, though. Slightly has it.
Trying to.
Roberts able to work it free. Roberts did get hit for stalling for backing out of bounds before that takedown.
Well, Ohio State has been just as suffocating as a soaked blanket.
Yeah, 23-0 right now and not even halfway through.
Edinboro came to wrestle, and Ohio State has given him no room to breathe at all. Uncontested escape given by Gallagher to get right back to his feet and back on the attack. Bazakis had 4 first-period takedowns en route to a tech fall. Gallagher trying to even that up here. Uh-oh.
Goes right to the cradle.
He's got the inside cradle. He's got the fall.
Wow. Ohio State, that's what, 4 pins in the first 5 matches?
Well, it took him 2:15, so I don't know.
Yeah, he's not breaking any records there.
How about that? What a great transition from Gallagher.
Yeah.
He saw that inside leg, knew to slide up, keep it, get to the hip, lock the cradle. He had a little bit of room. The foot was up off the mat, but still inside the cylinder. And the official, Conrad Duffy, right there to call the fall. And that is the first half here at the Covelli Center. The Ohio State Buckeyes are off and running, up 29-0 against the Edinboro Fighting Scots. When we come back after halftime, we'll go to 165 pounds. Joey Arnold and Isaac Wilcox will light it up, and the Buckeyes will look to keep it rolling. Keep it tuned right here to BTN+. We're back here at the Covelli Center, getting you ready for the second half of what a first half it was, Matthew, for the Ohio State Buckeyes. 29-0 they lead. 1 point away from a perfect first half. It was perfect in their 5 or 5. 4 of those pins and 1 a tech fall, and that started right from the get-go. There was a cradle from a crone.
Yeah, something that we kind of noticed after talking about this after the half wrapped up is I think all 4 pins by Ohio State were via cradles.
Bazakis was the lone no pin, but he turned in a tech fall. There was Mendez, started with the head ribs cradle, ran it over, turned that into a fall. Dylan D'Amelio, likewise, near the edge of the mat, found a cradle. Well, he started it. No, that's right. That was a half. So I knew there was one that wasn't a cradle. It was D'Amelio's. He had the pin at 141, and then, excuse me, 149, and then Patty Gallagher was the one with the cradle on the edge.
The David Taylor cradle, I like to call it now. He hits that cradle a lot. Goes to the far, short headlock, goes to the far leg underneath, cradles it up, and got the pin there. So Ohio State 29-0 up right now, 5 matches into it.
There you see Tom Ryan, the head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, and that team went to the Clarion Open and came away with 4 championships. Not wrestling as a team at the Michigan State Open. That's going on this weekend. And because of the dual schedule and the way it went down, Ohio State elected not to send the full lineup to Michigan State, so they opened at Clarion. And it worked out pretty well for the Buckeyes there. They had the 4 champions. They sent almost the whole team. And there were an awful lot of finalists. At 141, they had both finalists with Mendez and Cannon, and they elected to call that a no contest. So just a big weekend to start things for the Buckeyes, and they're keeping it rolling here today. As we go to half number 2, and that first half took less than 25 minutes.
We'll be out of here early.
It could be an early day here, certainly, but 165 pounds will be our next weight class. Joey Arnold is a senior, and he'll take the mat for Edinboro from Pittsburgh, or Pittsfield rather, Pennsylvania, went to Warren High School. And he'll be taking on Isaac Wilcox. And Wilcox has already put together a very strong season. And we talked about Dylan D'Amelio having to earn everything that he has gotten to reach this level. Wilcox is absolutely another one of those guys. Last year was kind of a Swiss Army knife for the Buckeyes, won matches at 3 different weight classes. And this year at 165 pounds, won the wrestle-off. And obviously there's, Bryce Hepner still waiting in the wings. He was not healthy at the beginning of the season. But, Tom Ryan said Wilcox has earned this spot, and he's getting the start here again today.
You stole my word. I was going to use Swiss Army knife. And then that's exactly what Wilcox is. He's one of those guys that, if he needs to wrestle 57, he'll be there. 65, he'll be there. 74, he's your guy. So he's just been that kind of fill-in guy, and in the years leading up to now, and now he's got the spot right now. It's going to be contested by Hepner, like you said, once he's ready to go. But for the time being, it's Wilcox, and there he gets the opening takedown. So he's out 3-0 to start this second half.
Yeah, this is not a gift for Isaac Wilcox to be at this weight class. He has earned this, and he's proving certainly to be up to the task.
Yeah, 165, no easy weight either. See a lot of talent at 165.
5-1 on the season. Arnold 1-2 at Clarion. Takedown escape 3-1. Wilcox in the lead.
So a couple more rule changes that we'll talk about. One is the elimination of the no reaction time takedown.
Yep.
So it used to be in that rear standing position as Wilcox has that bomb leg Turk trying to.
Well, he's looking for a fall here.
Now he's got a bow and arrowed.
Yeah, he's got that locked. He's got the 4 count on the near fall. Now can he slip the leg and readjust up top to work for the fall? Now that right arm came out. But yeah, you're right. If in the past you get behind a guy, that hand touches the mat, there's your takedown.
Yeah, no
there's
reaction
your 2,
time.
Because it didn't exist when there was 3, right?
Right.
There's
so
the 4
it
near
used to
fall.
be if there's one frame that person's hand's touching the ground, that's a takedown. But that's been eliminated, so now in every situation there is reaction time. Now reaction time's not, strictly defined as 0.25 or 0.5 seconds, but it's just kind of in that referee's judgment. And as you get familiar with wrestling, you kind of get the idea of it. But yeah, no instantaneous takedowns anymore.
Has not been a factor yet today in this match, but it was a factor quite often for Virginia Tech and Ohio State. And that's where you can really, I guess that favors the more high-level balanced athlete, whoever that happens to be. If you place your hand down momentarily, that doesn't mean that you have given up control. You still have an opportunity to continue to wrestle through the situation and not give up the takedown. 10-2 our score here.
Just like that, it's already 10-2.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to your point, you got 3 takedowns here in the first period there's a stall call with Wilcox pushing the pace. Arnold hit for stalling, for backing out. And actually, it was 2 takedowns with the back points. There's the 3rd takedown. And now an 11-point match. It's going to take the average fan, it's going to take us, it's going to take the wrestlers, the coaches, a little bit of time to get used to how wide open this match is right now. And it seems like, listen, last year, 13-2, match is over, right?
Right.
You're waiting for the end. But that's not really the case, because Arnold, if he were able to turn the tables, turn the momentum, and rack up a few takedowns of his own, you're right back in it with the 3-point takedown.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of excited to see, is when there is a match that's 13-2 or something that the margin's pretty wide, and that wrestler who's been down, he finds the second gear, maybe the leading wrestler, he's having a gas tank issue, whatever. I'd love to see that come back in 3-point takedowns, overcome a 12, 13, 14-point deficit.
Gonna happen.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
Second period underway, 13-2, Wilcox on top. Riding time is up over a minute and a half. That has been an absolute non-factor today.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the points you made is there's just less of an impact that riding point has now. Now that there's so much more other opportunities to score. There's going to be a second stall call.
Yeah, in that case, that's tough on Arnold. He had his head down on the mat.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things, that's an earmark for a referee, right? If that head's down on the mat, you're not bringing it up when you can, that's certainly an indicator that you're going to get hit for stalling. Wilcox, after that, immediately in on a shot here.
That's a pretty attack.
Yes.
Arnold.
He's got the takedown.
Now 14-point lead, so.
A turn, another takedown, any of it.
Yep. Looks like he's going to let him out. Just try to go for the tech fall.
Wilcox getting a little bit rough there, just telling his man, hey, get up, let's wrestle.
So just one more score here for Wilcox. He'll put it away.
Plenty of time to do it. 45 seconds. Shot near the edge. Arnold with a good spin around. Tried for the go behind. Wilcox adjusted. Back to neutral. And there's the takedown near the out of bounds line. Arnold kind of looked like he was going for it all.
Yeah. Yeah, just really gritty win from Wilcox. Kept good positioning. And just like that, it's 21-4 tech fall for Isaac Wilcox. And Ohio State keeping the streak alive of ending the match early. Now up 34-0. So mathematically, the match is over. No,
yes, indeed.
Not technically, though. Coaches can lose points.
And that means because mathematically this dual meet belongs to the Ohio State Buckeyes, that means Tom Ryan has just locked down his 200th win as the head coach of Ohio State in dual meet action. So congratulations to Coach Ryan. 18 seasons leading the Buckeyes. Doesn't seem like that long ago, does it, that he took over the program?
No, he's been here quite some time now, and if Ohio State keeps this up, unless he wants to go elsewhere, he's going to be here for quite some time.
200 Ohio State wins for Coach Ryan and his staff, and now 174 pounds, Gabe Stafford. For the Fighting Scots of Edinboro, a freshman will take on Carson Archla. Archla from Powell, Ohio, Central Ohio native. Two-time state champ at Olentangy Liberty. Ranked number 7. If you didn't get a chance to watch the Virginia Tech duel, it is worth your time to go back and see the match at 174 pounds between Archla and Mekhi Lewis. It was, I mean, high-level wrestling, low-scoring match. Archla fell by a 4-2 count, but it was some of the highest level wrestling you're going to see. Archla immediately in on a shot, hooks the ankle. There's the takedown.
Yeah. Archla, he just has some of the best transitions in wrestling and all of college wrestling. As soon as he gets on a leg, he's just constantly moving.
And the one takedown that he gave up was just kind of a brief lapse, and Lewis, as good an opponent as you can have, took advantage of it to get the edge.
Yeah, Carson's just a real fun wrestler to watch, always trying new things.
Oh, what a dump.
It's beautiful, textbook. Just like that, it's 6-1.
6-2 after the escape. Archla looks like he wants to just kind of push the pace here and score takedowns. He had actually more scoring chances than did Lewis in the match, just was not able to kind of transition to that final score. Third takedown. Just over a minute into this match, Archla's got that half running deep.
Oh, that was deep. Not able to make anything of it, though. There's going to be another escape for Stafford.
Sure, Stafford's shoulder is thankful of that.
Stafford from Canonsburg, Pennsylvania. He's a freshman. Again, a lot of young guys on this Edinboro team.
And, you know, if you're Coach Hill with this Edinboro team, there's Archla in on another takedown here with 1:20 to go. That's 4 takedowns in the first. This is, and again, the score is about as wide as it can get. This is a learning opportunity for these youngsters. You have to look at what your opponent did and say, that's the level I want to get to. What's it going to take to get there? Because if you just look at the results, it's going to be a long bus ride home.
Right.
You have to try and be able to take something from this.
Yeah, and like we were talking about, this is really early in the season now. This is the time to get adjusted to the new, again, a lot of young guys get adjusted to the rigor of college, the talent level. You're just not used to this.
There's Hartzler's 5th takedown of the first period. Still 30 seconds to go. He would have an opportunity to get another one if he wants. Riding time just hit a minute with the volume of takedowns. Looks like he wants to ride this period out.
Wonder if he's going to work for a turn because, you know, not really probably worried about building up riding time because this match, you know, if this continues, it's not going to go the full 3 periods anyways.
4 seconds left in the first. Hartzler will finish it on top. That was a situation there where the new rules, the official kind of allowed Hartzler just to ride that out without really working for a turn. He had his man flattened out, and really that's so the previous emphasis was you have to be working to break your opponent down. He had him broken down. He wasn't really working hard for a turn. We'll see as the season progresses how the referees interpret that type of action.
Yeah, maybe you just let it go because not a ton of time left on the clock. Looks like Hartzler's going to get a reversal here.
Yeah, he didn't want the escape. He went straight for the 2, and that'll make it a 13-point match. A kick and a takedown or a turn would end it. And there's the kick. Hartzler was able to pretty much get takedowns at will in the first period.
And that's going to be
pass. The shot finishes it up, and a very workmanlike and slick technical fall. 21-5 is the final score. Hartzler. Redshirt senior. Arsen Hartzler with the tech fall to keep Ohio State bonus perfect so far in this one. 3 tech falls and 4 pins. Heading into 184 pounds.
This could break a record for how quick of a match.
Well, I don't know.
What, Big Ten Freshman of the Week?
Yes, Rocco Welch, the Big Ten Freshman of the Week for his championship at Clarion. And he's another guy who could go 184 pounds. You know, he would have wrestled off at 174 had Hartzler been healthy. But that's another guy that can go 184 if need be because he is a big young man and a true freshman. As is Brody Evans, both from Mapleton High School in Mapleton, Pennsylvania. And because Rocco Welch was his classmate, Evans was basically always wrestling up a weight because they were right at the same weight class. And here is Seth Shoemate, 3-time state champion for Dublin Kaufman High School, Columbus suburb. So he is doing his college work right in his own backyard.
Yeah, Shoemate, a lot of success in high school in multiple styles. Big Greco guy.
Yep.
I believe he won a Fargo title out there. That was kind of, I think, his breakout performance was his Fargo performance.
Strong, quick, can score from anywhere.
Just 3 matches to go.
I'm not quite sure what to say here, Matthew, because we're 30 seconds into a match with no takedowns.
Oh, I think they went out of bounds.
Off the mat? Yes, indeed. Shoemate kept the toe in bounds.
I think he brought it back in bounds. I think he went out and then brought it back in.
They were off the mat, off the edge. So still scoreless here in the first period. This is much more typical of what you're going to see in a college wrestling mat than what we have seen through the first 7 matches.
Yeah, Seth Shoemate, he's one of those few guys in Ohio State lineup that's not yet ranked. So this is the only unranked matchup we'll see here.
Well, and I wonder if that's because in the rankings they have Hoffman, because Hoffman has announced going to 184, and I believe Hoffman was ranked 18th. And so they're only going to rank one guy per weight. Oh, there's a nice shot, but he kind of lost his balance there. Shoemate able to still get it to a high level. Plenty of real estate with which to work. Now they go near the out-of-bounds line, and he finishes for 3.
He fell hard.
Yeah.
That looked like it hurt. Has there been any indication of when we might see Hoffman challenge for the spot?
It hasn't really. There's nothing kind of firm been put on that.
Kind of blows my mind that he can go 184. I know he started out there, but when he went heavyweight,
right,
he was big.
Yes, and you thought those days were over.
Yeah,
like
he was.
Close the book.
He wasn't a big heavyweight, but he was, 220, 230
He
probably.
was not. He's got that tall frame, and you thought when he went heavyweight, you thought, okay, he's got over a year, more than a couple of seasons. He can fill out. He can maybe get to that 240-ish range on that frame and look very good. But instead, he's gone the other way with it and heading back to 184, where he still has that height. He is going to have to be a very, very lean 184.
Yeah. He was strong at heavyweight too. Like, he was still very lean.
Low-level shot this time from Shoemate. Turns it into a takedown. Under a minute to go here in period number 1. And now Shoemate wants to go back to feet and look for a third takedown in the first period.
Just 25 seconds of riding time for Shoemate.
Heavy snap.
Gets him to a front head on the edge of the mat. It's about 30 to go here.
30 seconds remain in the period.
Trying to throw it by. Evans has spent a lot of time getting to the edge of the mat.
Yeah, Shoemate trying to figure out how to get behind him without going out of bounds. If I'm Shoemate, just, take a step. Oh.
Now they were both completely out of bounds there. I'm surprised there wasn't a call.
Yeah, if I was Shoemate there, just kind of go out of bounds and probably going to get a stall call out of it.
Well, instead he gets a takedown as the action continued with under 10 seconds to go. Shoemate will try and put this period to bed, content with a 9-2 advantage. And there it is.
So that's a 7-point lead with 3 takedowns in the first for Shoemate. It's going to be Evans' choice. He'll take down to start the second.
Shoemate saw some time in the lineup last year, performed pretty well. He's going to be the top man here in period number 2 and says, let's go neutral, as Evans chose bottom. So Evans will get the escape point to make it 9-3. Evans had an attack that Shoemate was able to fend off, and really, now Shoemate trying to use pace and change of direction to get in on a shot. And there's a good exchange, and Shoemate comes out on top with his 4th takedown. This is really the first match where Edinboro has not really gotten to the legs, but has seen a path to the legs.
Yeah, it looked like Shoemate caught Evans coming into him, just hit a little arm drag.
Colin Roberts had kind of a re-attack against Gallagher that didn't last very long.
Yeah. And there's a stall call against Evans on bottom from Edinboro.
And again, it's a result of having that head down on the mat and not really making an effort to get to a base. And it's still there.
Shoemate
he's riding hard here.
Gets a claw in. Gonna have a tough time getting to his back here.
Has to bar that up.
Has a claw wrist. Trying to take him over, but not quite able. Hasn't flattened out.
Now we're starting to get some rotation. Looking for that forward pressure, then rotate through.
35 seconds to go here in the second period.
Well, I like the transitioning here for Shoemate. Now there's another stall call on the bottom man and a point for Shoemate, negated by the escape.
So 30 seconds here. Shoemate's going to want to finish on top, I'm sure.
13-4 is the score.
Not a lot of time to work with. 15 to go.
No, but he's in a pretty good position to finish here. We'll roll through. I tell you what, Shoemate, a redshirt freshman, I really like the calm he showed there on that. Didn't panic, didn't try and follow when he didn't need to. Just kind of loosely held that ankle, let his man roll around, and then just fell on top for the takedown.
Yeah, you see a lot of guys get too eager in that situation, try to run it down, and then they use that momentum in the roll. So that roll, Shoemate just kind of waits on it and then falls on him.
As you can see there where he had the ankle, if you hold on to that too hard, then your top half is going to turn over. You're not going to be in a good stiff position, or a loose position, I guess. You are going to get stiff. And Shoemate didn't do that. He did exactly the right thing and turned it into a late takedown, now leading by 12.
So one takedown here will do it. Yeah, it looks like it's about to happen.
Same situation. That time he did get a little bit too eager, got a little bit too close to the body, but he's in a good position to finish things off.
I think he thought about trying to take him to his back and finish with the pin instead of just trying to get the takedown, which is fine.
Evans still with a hold of that ankle. Shoemate has let the action settle. That'll be a stalemate. Well, that shows you how small the margins are at the NCAA level. Ranked, unranked.
Yeah.
Doing something just right versus almost just right. One is a takedown, one is not.
Yeah.
1 minute remains in regulation. 1 minute.
Plenty of time here in the third period for Evans and Shoemate.
Oh.
They got a finger in the eye there, maybe.
Might have caught a stray.
Yeah, Evans down on hands and knees. The action was kind of blocked from us up here, but I don't know really what else could have been other than a finger in the eye. There's going to be some injury time here.
Might have caught a thumb.
Yeah,
the right
I think
thumb, it looked
as
like.
Shoemate was coming up for a collar tie, the head kind of turned in, the shoulder shrugged a little bit, and I think the thumb might have come in and gone across the left eye of Evans.
I'm sure that definitely hurt, but usually those kind of situations you just need about 1 or 2 minutes to for the pain to go away, and then you'd be okay. Unless he maybe caught a nail or something and cut him.
Yeah, that's not a lot of fun.
No, those hurt.
Well, Shoemate again now getting a little bit of a breather. 54 seconds left. And Shoemate wants to finish this off. Now he has choice of position because of the injury time. Shoemate wants to go neutral.
Yeah, starting down doesn't really do anything for you.
Now you still need a takedown for the tech fall, and why waste the time?
Yeah. Well, double from space, not able to get to the legs.
Shoemate doesn't mind being upper body though either.
No. Think he'll go for it?
Well, right into a blast double, leading head first. Couldn't quite close the distance. There's another stall call. So that's a point for Shoemate. 13-point match. Got that far side hook. 20 seconds to go. Crowd wants it.
Snap down, trying to go behind again, running out of space, and Evans going to go out. 9 seconds to go.
Shoemate looks a bit frustrated. There's so much wrestling on the edge there.
Yeah.
Put the riding time point on there. That'll be 18-4. Seth Shoemate with a very, very good performance, a major decision victory.
That'll be the first Edinboro wrestler to go the distance. Didn't really like how that match ended. Evans kind of went on the defense, trying to protect the bonus points. Where if I'm his coach, we don't care about the. We don't really care about the team score at this point.
Right.
We want your guy to be aggressive.
Well, in between the first and the second half, there was a heck of a moment right here at center mat. Sammy Sasso was honored here at the Cavelli Center, made an appearance, walked out onto the mat, and a rousing standing ovation, and the Sammy chant going on here. Multi-time NCAA finalist, obviously dealing with what you never want to have to, was shot during a carjacking over the offseason and a couple of very, very significant surgeries. He's up walking without any crutches or walker or cane, and boy, what an inspiration. He's been in the room. He was at these duels and these events in the Clarion Open, doing everything he can to make sure that the Buckeyes that are wearing those singlets are in the best position they can be to win.
Yeah, he's a leader through and through for this team. Not just because of his accolades, but times like this where he just shows his tenacity, his will, and I'm sure it means a lot to the guys on the team to see him up and about. I saw him going to some of the, I believe he was at Clarion. So it's great to see him up on his feet.
197 pounds, Luke Geog with a quick takedown. This is one of the few matches where the experience edge belongs to Edinboro. Jack Kilner, a grad student, transfer from Fresno City College, native of Livermore, California. 3-2 at Clarion. Geog wrestling in his second match, got a win against Virginia Tech, didn't wrestle at Clarion.
Geog, another Columbus area native from Upper Arlington, Ohio. Wrestled for St. Ed's,
Yes, he
though.
did.
A little bit of a commute.
It's a ways, sure. Right
Nice.
in on another shot, turns it into points.
So it's going to be 6-1 with just over a minute into the match. We're going to get a stoppage here.
Geog, having not wrestled an NCAA match, ranked 19th. This is a guy who, they were talking about Hoffman going down to 184. This is a guy who has moved up in weight and doesn't look oversized or overmatched at all.
No.
I'm not sure what we had here. If we had
I think it's blood.
got a blood time.
Yeah.
So not injury time, just blood. You see, Geog is already wrapped up, and now
Yeah.
we've got a
Came
matching
ready.
headband for Jack Kilner.
Yeah, Geog, he's one of those guys, like, no, he's not a small 197, but you could still see him in the next year or two getting bigger and still making 197. He's just a freshman.
Yeah, I don't know that he's going to grow into heavyweight, but
He probably could if he wanted to, but that's not really an open spot for Ohio State right now.
not at the moment. Not at the moment. He's got the height,
Yeah.
and as you see there on the screens, we saw the blood called for. He's got the frame as well to kind of fill out.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, it's kind of like if you look back at pictures or videos of Kyle Snyder when he was at 197.
Yeah.
Like, he's a big dude, but he's nothing compared to where he is right now.
I
No, he's a
don't
little
think
bit bigger
Snyder's
than
as tall as Geog is either.
No, he's not.
Now back to it here. The uncontested escape given by Geog. So Kilner back to his feet. 6-2 score, but maybe not for long as Geog is right back in on the shot. Cracks it down. Kilner trying to fend it off, but no avail there.
Geog just looks, he's agile.
Yes.
Constantly moving. That's great. You love to see that.
And this is where you normally say for a guy his size. I don't think it's for a guy his size. I think he's very athletic.
Yeah, he is. And he's one of those guys that, you know, when the new rankings come out, he's going to be moving up. He just had a big win over number 14, Andy Smith of Virginia Tech. So he's at 19 right now, so he'll probably be moving up a little bit.
And that was an interesting win because Geog came out just firing. Boom, 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 boom. And it looked like about halfway through the second period, hit a bit of a wall and really had to manage the rest of the match. Here he's got a tilt for some points. How many is it going to be? It's the full four.
Yeah, 4.
And that'll put him up 13-2. And so when I say Geog managed the match, he still got in on the shots. He still was able to find a way to get to the legs to kill some of that clock, as he probably didn't have as much starch as he did in the first period.
This is crazy. He's one turn away from a tech right now. It's just
These points are
crazy
blowing your
how
mind.
quickly you can get to a technical fall now. Just needs 4 points. Might not get it here, but has an arm bar, and there's a stall warning against Kilner.
Well, so we talked about mat wrestling and the new rules. There have been 4 stall warnings in mat wrestling, not one on the top man.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very very interesting that, you know, the rules did transition to give more opportunities for the top man to get called for stalling, but haven't seen that yet so far. So that means Ohio State, who's been the top guys so far, you know, they've been working to score.
And to this point, Ohio State has given up 0 points outside of escapes.
Yeah.
Second period starts with Geog on bottom, quickly into a switch.
Opportunity. You don't see a lot of switches in college.
No. Now Ohio State had 1 reversal from the bottom, and now a reversal again for Geog.
Yeah, Elijah Cleary was the last Ohio State wrestler that was switching all the time. He was the only guy in the lineup that would hit a switch. I think it's underutilized.
Timing is everything. Feel that pressure? Now for Geog, 13-point advantage. To this point, looks like he wants to try for that turn again. He had a tilt. He's got another one. Got a 1 count, got a 2. If he gets the 4, it's over. That'll do it. Geog rolls back up on top. Give him the 4, give him the tech. 19-2. Another bonus point victory for the Buckeyes.
Great match by Geog in his home debut, wrestling in front of the Buckeye crowd. And Ohio State just continues to streak up 48-0 heading into the last match. And here comes Nick Feldman.
20-2 a match score. That's Rutherford. That's Stieber. That's that kind of territory. Those guys that are just mammoths on top.
And it's interesting you bring that up because while that is true, it's not really a fair comparison.
No,
I think
it's not how it's happened.
If these rules changes persist, people are going to be comparing. Oh, this guy's getting as many tech falls as Stieber, as Rutherford, as whoever. But in all candor, it's a lot easier to do it right now. Not that those wrestlers aren't good, but.
And a Kyle Snyder tech fall to everybody. He was not a pinner, but it was 30-15.
Can you imagine how many tech falls Kyle Snyder would have with these rules? He would thrive in this environment. Not that he's not already thriving.
He's doing all right. We go to heavyweight now, our 10th match, our final match of the duel. Nick Lodato, who is actually kind of a 197-pounder. He and Kilner both wrestled at 197 at Clarion. But Lodato, a little bit bigger of the two. He is a tall fella, Lodato. He's going to take on Nick Feldman.
You're going to see a size difference.
There's a contrast in body styles coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. Lodato is long and lean. Feldman is built like a fire hydrant. If you took Nate Tomasello and just hit the increased font.
Stretch it,
that's what you're going to get, Nick Feldman.
Doesn't have a neck.
I can't recall. And when he's out here on the mat, you'll get your own look at it, fans. But the stems on this guy could hold up the Sears Tower.
Yeah. Who did that remind you of?
Well, the only guy, and it wasn't even this big, Kevin Randleman.
Yeah.
Kevin Randleman had thighs and definition in the thighs that was unbelievable. With Nick Feldman, it's just the sheer mass of his lower half. And here he comes. And there you see, this was probably the only time they stand up next to each other. Well, and Lodato got into his stance. Yeah, this is a very, very different body type for these two guys.
I think he's just going to be overwhelmed. Like, there's just not going to be much you're going to be able to do.
Now, there's a situation where that treetop, and Feldman didn't quite secure the takedown and won't before he goes out of bounds. Lodato was standing with his leg up on Feldman's shoulder and didn't appear all that. Now, he wasn't comfortable, but he wasn't all that stretched out either.
Yeah, usually if you have a guy treetop and the other guy's in the process of falling. But, yeah, if you have a big height difference like this, some guys can be more comfortable than others in that situation.
Well, and for Feldman's, there's the takedown for 3. Feldman's win, and it was a huge, huge win against Hunter Katka with a last-second takedown. Spoke with him yesterday, and he said basically, I was glad to get the win, but he wasn't happy with the way that he wrestled, particularly in the first period where he was not on the attack. We've seen him obviously on the attack here. But also, wrestling Katka, that is a full-sized heavyweight.
Yeah.
And Feldman, for as much girth as he has, is a middle-sized heavyweight.
Right.
And Katka, tall, filled out, muscular, big boy. And you saw that play out in the second period. There's the takedown for Feldman to go up 6-2. Katka rode him like a mule in the second period, all 2 minutes. Had 3 excellent mat returns, had him flattened out, and you wondered how much starch is that going to take out of the socks of Feldman come the third period when he needs the takedown.
Right.
And you could tell that it did take some, but it didn't take it all because he was able to score at the last minute.
Ooh, beautiful ankle pick. And Feldman, he is just a redshirt freshman, and he didn't get to spend a lot of time on the mat last year.
0 matches.
Yeah, he just practice time basically, if anything. So he didn't really get that redshirt development year, going to open tournaments, wrestling other heavyweights, getting a feel of what the college talent level is. And obviously he's an amazing wrestler, but it does take time to kind of get your bearings of how good heavyweight is. You're used to just bullying people. If you're on bottom, you're used to just standing up because you're just so much better. You don't need to worry about technique and separating hands. I'm going to stand up, push them away, and there's my one.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore.
9-3 Tavanello with the lead. We're double-checking something over at the head table. The comparisons with Kyle Snyder obviously are going to be there, and they're going to persist. And Feldman knows that. But, you know, he's just said, listen, I'm not Kyle Snyder. I'm Nick Feldman. I'm going to wrestle how I wrestle.
Yeah.
And he's so active, a ton of shots. Another takedown, just bowling through Lodato.
He's got the physique. It's just going to be a matter of, you know, continuing to develop technique, developing speed, and just that mental game of, you know, how these college heavyweights wrestle. Yeah, I don't think he's going to wrestle many, if any, heavyweights this year that are more physical than him, stronger than him. There's guys going to be on his level, but he's never going to be in a situation where he's just absolutely overpowered.
Yeah. Learning the game is probably going to be a big part of what he's doing this year. 15-4 the score as the first period winds down. Just overwhelming for Feldman here in the first, and keeping Lodato's head down on the mat.
I might have to rescind my statement, though, because Gable Stevenson's probably coming back.
Well, listen, we heard that last year, too.
It's a rumor, yeah. Well, I think I saw he enrolled at Minnesota. So, not that, I mean, obviously Gable's super strong, but he doesn't look, he's not as lean as someone like Feldman.
Yeah. Kirk Vliet obviously is a physical specimen.
Yeah. Kirk Vliet. Is Paris back again, or is he done?
Paris is done.
He's done.
Heavyweight's been a tough landscape the last few years, certainly.
Yeah.
10-point lead. There's a stall call against Lodato as Feldman down to a roll-through scramble. Got into a bit of an awkward position, so kind of gave it up to dive to the ankles. You don't see this at heavyweight a whole lot.
Yeah. Bunch of far ankle scrambles.
Yeah. Feldman's not your typical heavyweight, and Lodato's not even a heavyweight, really. Feldman, as the scramble continued, boy, just that pressure into the body in a situation like that. If you don't have that pressure, you're just going to wind up back on your feet and free away and have to rework in.
Yeah. Yeah, top guys at this weight class, Greg Kirkley at Penn State, Wyatt Henderson, Air Force.
Big boy.
Yeah, he's really tough. Cassiope's ranked third, but I believe he's done with the gambling.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the punishment handed down there will mean.
So they haven't taken him out of the rankings yet. But
Feldman trying to finish this match with a takedown, and he's going to do it. How about that? 21-6. Well, the Ohio State Buckeyes were favored coming into this, but I think this was an absolute statement.
And what was your kind of theme of this match? Is
don't have a letdown.
Yeah, and Ohio State did not.
I don't think they had a letdown.
Yeah.
For Edinboro, listen, they knew coming in that they were a little bit undermanned with injuries and having a lot of freshmen in the lineup and things of that nature. I don't know if they expected that, but what they had here was just a team that isn't at the level of Ohio State yet. There's a lot of learning for Edinboro to do.
Yeah, Ohio State, again, coming off a really big win with the Virginia Tech, just continuing that momentum, and 53-0. The max points you can score is 60. That's pinning top to bottom. So, yeah, not much more you can do if you're Ohio State there. So, really good win for them.
And if you're the coaching staff for the Buckeyes, you take this, you say, hey, guys, great job. You did what you were supposed to do. Now it's back.
உங்களுக்கு ஏத்த பாட்டு அந்த
இப்போது நம்ம ரூல் பேக்கேஜ் சேனல்ல இருந்து
ஆமா
ஐயோ ஓகே நைட் 10 மணி ஷார்ப்பா வரேன் ஐயோ ஆண்டினா 10
ரிவர்ஸ் கேக்குதா
கேக்குது
ஆண்டிக்கு வந்து தனி விசி
ஒரு பைத்தியக்காரன் நம்ம ஓட்டு போட சொல்லி இருந்தோம்ல ஓட்டு போட்டு வாட்ஸ்அப்ல கால் பண்ணி அந்த ஸ்கிரீன்ஷாட் அனுப்புறாயா ஓட்டு போட்டேன்னு இப்ப
கணேசன் ப்ரோ थैंक यू ஹரி ப்ரோ ஹை
ஐயோ சோச்சு ஐயோ யார் அசரப்ப அருமையான டோக்கன் அடிச்சு மீண்டும் அவங்க டீம் ஐயோ அசரப்ப அவங்க டீம் ஆடுறாங்க அவரே ஆடுறாங்க
இவர் ஆடி
ஹரி ப்ரோ மாலை
ரூல் பேக் வெளிய போறேன்
நான் மேட்ச் வர நல்லா ப்ளே பண்ணுவாரு ப்ரோ ஓகே நீங்க ஏதாவது ஜாக்ஸ் ப்ரோ கான்டாக்ட் பண்ணுங்க ப்ரோ அவர்தான் மேட்ச்சுக்கு ஆல் எடுப்பாரு
ஜெகதீஷ் பாய் இரு தர வெயிட் பண்ணி இன்னைக்கு தரேன் அது பிரைவேட் ஈஸியா ரோல் மேக்ஸிமம் கொடுக்க மாட்டோம். அதுக்கு நம்ம என்ன கேட்டுட்டு கொடுக்கறோம்.
கண்டிப்பா வந்து நம்ம ராகராஜ் ப்ரோ ஒரு நாள் கண்டிப்பா நல்ல ஒரு ஃபார்ம் பண்ணிட்டு வருவாரு. ஆனா ஏன்னா இப்பதான் பிராக்டிஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க.
ஸ்டில் நிப்பாமா பிராக்டிஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காரு.
இவரே காமி அசார் பாய் கிட்ட உடைக்கிறான் வாளை வெறியா.
இன்னும் உடைக்கல, வெளியே வெயிட் பண்றாங்க. ஐயோ இவா பாய்.
ஐயோ
குளுங்க நீ நையாண்டி பாட்டு பாடு.
ஹரி ப்ரோ
சாப்பிட்டியா? ராக்கி ப்ரோ சாப்பிடல ப்ரோ.
இல்ல ப்ரோ இன்னைக்கு டெமி ப்ரோ லைவே இல்லையே ப்ரோ. இன்னைக்கு டெமி ப்ரோ லைவ்
இவா ப்ரோ என்ன அடி இவா ப்ரோ சரியான ஷாட்.
என்ன மாதிரி ஆடுறாரு டபட்டில.
ஆமாயா என்ன பார்த்த மாதிரியே இருக்கு பாய் பிசி. ஒன்னு ஆப்போசிட்ல ஏன் ஆப்போசிட்லயே பார்த்த மாதிரி அடி. அப்பா என்ன அடி ஹெட் ஷாட்யா. பா வாட் ஹரிகரன்
பாயிண்ட்.
ஹரிகரன் ஹாய் ப்ரோ. சாமடிக்காத சாப்பிடுங்க. ஏய் गाइस இதுக்கு அடுத்த மேட்ச் வந்து டீம் செனட்டர்ஸ் vs அசெண்டர்ஸ். இளைஞர்கள் இந்த மேட்ச் நம்ம 7 ஷாட் வின் பண்ணிட்டாங்க அப்படினா ரூல் பிரேக்கர்ஸ் vs 7 ஷாட் நடக்கும் என்பதை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறோம்.
அடி வாங்குவீங்களா அடி கொடுப்பீங்களா?
அது வந்து நம்ம பாய் பிசி
அவர் வாங்குவீங்களா எமோட் போடுவீங்களா?
நம்ம எமோட் ஃபுல்லானே போட்டா 300 ரூபாய் ரொக்க பரிசு. எப்படி எமோட் இன்னைக்கு இந்த கரியர் வந்து ரெண்டு டீமே எமோட் போட்டாரு ப்ரோ சரியா? சோ இந்த ரெண்டு டீம்ல பிரைஸ் பே.
ஹரி ப்ரோ கேக்குதா?
கேக்குது ப்ரோ.
லைவ் ஓடமோதா 300 ரூபாய் ரொக்க பரிசுன்றாங்க. லைவ் முடிச்சனே நீ யாரோ நான் யாரோ.
மத எங்க பாய்பிசி அப்ப அன்னைக்குனா 344 ரூபாய் 10 புரோட்டா. அது வயிறா அண்ணா கிடங்க சொல்லு. நம்மலாம் இல்ல 10 அது 10 புரோட்டானா பிரச்சனை கிடையாது. 10 புரோட்டா ஒரு ஃப்ரைட் ரைஸ் ஒரு grill. வாப்பா
ஹாய் ப்ரோ.